This is Chaotic Neutral's Guide to Time Travel by Dancing in the Storm. This is published in 2020, has 1,629 words in one chapter. I really like this one, so let's get started. Summary. You claim you're from the future, Nezu said, hopping onto his desk. Do you have anything to prove this? Hitoshi fished around in his pocket. Here's my hero license, he said, holding it up. Nezu opened his mouth, but Hitoshi kept on going, producing a handful of odd and ends from his pocket. Also, a movie ticket, some dryer lint, some, I don't know, I still had that, but it's old gum. That was when I saw him walked in, kept her up and floating around him. What's the emergency? He asked, clipped as he opened the door. And the left arm of a ducky plushie. Hitoshi finished, unruffled. My cat ate the rest. Notes. See the end of the work for other works inspired by this one. Shinzo Hidoshi, age 27, played a Catch the Kittens game on his phone while lounging at the gates of UA. He's been here for a decent amount of time. Nezu definitely noticed him by now. Yo, he said, this because that had been hidden around here somewhere. He didn't look up from his game. For the last time, I'm from the future and I need to talk to Nezu or whatever. Nothing happened. Hitoshi shrugged, half smiling as he netted another kitten. It took another 5 levels for anything to happen, at least. But at last, the gates swung open to reveal Nezu, All Might, and Midnight. Your persistence speaks to your... Nezu started. Hitoshi held up one hand. One sec, I'm on a kitten rush challenge. Nezu paused. All Might coughed. The silence was awkward, only broken by the tiny music of the game. And there, Hitoshi said, pocketing his phone. 27 kittens. Not bad. Hey, Nezu. Young man, All Might started. If you were to be believed, your behavior did not speak well of unprofessional conduct. Hitoshi said, drawing himself off the pavement. But consider kittens. He's worse than Shota, Midnight murmured, a little awed. Nezu gave Hitoshi a long, appraising look. Come to my office, he said at length. Hitoshi shrugged and followed his escort through the gated walls. Upon arriving in Nezu's office, Hitoshi promptly claimed the closest chair and spun a quick circle in it. It's the little things, he explained to his audience. Right. Midnight watched him with bemused curiosity. You claim you're from the future, Nezu said, hopping onto his desk. Do you have anything to prove this? Hitoshi finished around in his pocket. Here's my hero license, he said, holding it up. Nezu opened his mouth, but Hitoshi kept going right on, producing a handful of odds and ends from his pocket. Also, a movie ticket, some dryer lint, some, I don't know, I still have this, but it's old gum. That was when Aizawa walked in, captured weapon floating around him. What's the emergency? He asked, clipped as he kicked open the door. And the left arm of a Deku plushie. Hitoshi finished, unraveled. My cat ate the rest. Aizawa assessed Hitoshi with a grunt. Who's this? He claims he's a first-year student of ours from the future, Nezu said. May I see your license? Hitoshi tossed it onto Nezu's desk. Sure. Nezu leaned over the card. This is dated 10 years in the future. Yeah, Hitoshi said, grimacing. It's technically expired, but don't tell anyone that. All Might clapped a hand over his mouth to contain a blood-powered cough. It's only by 3 weeks, Hitoshi defended himself. I was actually going to get it renewed when I wound up here. How did you get here? Nezu asked, holding the card up to the light. Hitoshi looked skyward. It's a dramatic battle to the death. I thought glared at Hitoshi. Was it? No, but I wish it was, Hitoshi grumbled. I knocked a dude over chasing Bakugo. Next thing I know, I'm here. Why were you chasing Bakugo? Midnight asked, voice despairing. He said my ringtone was stupid. Okay. Hitoshi snapped. Without prompting, he pulled his phone out and tapped a few buttons. It blared. It's a logical ruse! Echoed through the room. It was full quitted. So now I'm here, Hitoshi said. Anyway, I figured I should warn you that this year is going to be hell. Lizzie sat down at Hidoshi's hero's license. What information can you give us? Do you want, like, everything that goes wrong, or just the main headings? Because there's a lot. Any information that's valuable? Said Nezu, pulling up a laptop. Is there anything we should be aware of the next month? Villains are going to attack the USJ in about a day. Azo stiffened. How many? What's their aim? Beats me. To kill All Might or Midoriya. No, wait, they don't hate Midoriya yet since they hadn't met him, right? Yeah, no, to kill All Might. Nezu's tail twitched. Any information on their capabilities would be invaluable. Don't know. Shinzo shrugged again. I hadn't transferred to 1A yet, and nobody talks about it. I mean, they do, but I just sort of tuned them out. We've had much more exciting attacks than the USJ. So the threat level is minimal? Nah, I think a few people almost died, but no one actually did. He added hurriedly, seeing the look on his Alice face. Like, you got a cool scar under your eye, though. He traced the line on his face. Like that. Alright, Nezu said tightly, typing a few notes. Is there anything else you can tell us about that day? Toshi nodded, thought about it. I had katsu-don for lunch, he offered. It was pretty good. Anything relevant? Midnight snapped. I mean, it was relevant to me. I skipped breakfast that day, so it was a pretty big deal. Toshi didn't know this been this year. I like to think I ate a well-balanced diet, and that was straight up a lot in high school. What other major headings goes wrong that you can give us? I mean, all my... should I say this? It could mess up the timeline and stuff. We've already broken the timeline with knowing about the USJ, Nancy pointed out. No, all we can do is prepare for it the best we can. Okay. Hidoshi clapped his hands together. So, All Might had this big fight with... What's his name? I keep forgetting. His name wasn't released to the public, and I have access to it as a hero, but I honestly didn't look up more than once. I think it had to go with, like, Candy? I don't know. Anyways, they fought, and All Might had to retire afterward. He glanced up at All Might. You go Small Might if you want is not really a surprise to me. Small Might? I mean, I said it like she was ascending. That's what the group chat calls him. Hidoshi confirmed. But yeah, Kimono's big. Why was I fighting this villain? I said, gripping the edge of the table so hard cracks formed in the wood. There are very few people that can take me in a full-out fight. Kaminari called it the world's most epic grudge match, like you'd fought before and stuff. All Might went white, exchanging a loaded glance with Nezu. Was the villain's name All for One? Toshi snapped his fingers. Yeah, that was it. All for one and one for all. Like, he felt it. He fluttered he felt it under All Might's full attention. Like the Three Musketeers, the candy bar. That looked like he wanted to strangle Hidoshi. This is a common expression, so Hidoshi wasn't overly affected. It's good candy, he finished in a mumble. I imagine All Might's retirement caused some sociological chaos. Societal chaos, Nancy prompted. Yeah, I guess, Hidoshi said. You guess? Midnight echoed. At the same time, All Might said, Did I defeat All for One? Hidoshi made a face. You wound up in Tartarus. He took a good long look at All Might and decided not to say more. Then he spun his chair to look at Midnight. Look, society could have collapsed and I would have really noticed. I was training agents for one night, which meant I got, like, no free time for months. But yeah, everyone says things started to go bad once All Might retired. The grim silence in the room was profound. Someone made a remix of Komodo Wood footage and posted it. Hidoshi added thoughtfully. It's Bob. Did anything else happen this year? Aizawa said, tracking a hand over his face. Pretty sure this is the year everyone started calling Shoto Candy Cane, which, may I add, is better than his actual hero name. Hidoshi paused, as his stomach started to tingle uncomfortably. This had happened before, right before he traveled, the first time. Anyway, I gotta go. He said, doing a final spin in his chair. Great to see you again and all that jazz. But I gotta get hero license, go Renee and the cat cafe to visit, so... Do you ever do anything useful? Ever? That's how it exploded. Scarf raising dangerously high above his head. And that Hitoshi couldn't let slide. "You shouldn't say that to your son," he said, mock pouting. And that tiny warp enveloped him to the glorious sight of every person in the room, turning to Aizawa, eyes wide. And Aizawa wouldn't even know if Hitoshi was telling the truth until they reached Hitoshi's time. Hitoshi cackled as he spat back into an alley he'd been chasing Bakugo through hours before. It was then that he realized that he left his hero card with Nezu. "Blast," he mumbled, fishing in front of his pocket. On screen, Kiden's dance to the victory tune piping out of the game. He dialed Nezu, who answered on the second ring. "Shinzo Hitoshi," Nezu said, sounding exasperated. "I've been waiting 12 years to tell you that you gave the singularly most unhelpful intelligence briefing of my entire life." "Well," Shinzo said, considering, "you didn't have to be so mean about it." Nezu sighed. "Come pick up your license from my office. We'll be having words." Shinzo wished badly that the license renewals didn't require the license to fill out the paperwork. "Okay," he said, and hung up. Then, because it had been a half hour from where he lives, therefore recharged, his lives. Then, because it had been a half hour and his lives were therefore recharged, he pulled out his kid's game and played it, humming along on the long walk back to UA. And that's it for this fanfiction. I really love this one. The Chaotic Neutral's Guide to Time Travel. When I first read this, I was cackling so hard. But, yeah, go give kudos to the original creator. Man, I'm gonna be honest, Dancing in the Storm has some good ones, but this is definitely one of my favorites. Have a great day, drink water, eat food, don't die. Love y'all.